Sarah, welcome to the Soul Collective podcast. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me on. And I'm excited about this show because I know we're going to get some amazing information out there to the public.
Yes, you are sharing so much information, things that are really not in the mainstream. And so I want to dive in and just talk a little bit about multidimensionality and what might we not know about the full multidimensionality of our being.
So, a lot of people are functioning in a 3D state of being, and they're not accessing their Merkaba, their aura, their emotional body, their chakra system, their soul, their spirit. So, they're quite disconnected, which is causing a lot of problems for them in their lives, in their relationships, in manifesting a happy, healthy life on every single level. And I've noticed this. So, we come into these bodies, and we're coming into a body at the point of conception where the body already has all the genetics of all the what I call negative genetic imprints from trauma from our ancestors. Also, a lot of disease imprints, imprints of toxins. So when the soul comes to come in the body, which it's not a happy place at the point of conception, it can't fully come into the body. So people are walking around with like 20-30% of their soul energy in their body and most of it out of their body. So they're half awakened, or they have just enough energy to function in 3D society, but not enough energy to actually access the realms of spirits and access the dimensions.
And when we really embody, like when you talk about that process of really coming fully into the body, what are some of the doorways that open up?
A lot of things. You start to tap into this higher consciousness that interacts with you every single way possible, whether it's through the smile of a child, or it's through certain symbols that appear around you on TV, or certain songs. It's interacting through the trees, through nature. So we start to get connected. Once we open up, we're connected to God's source that interacts with us and fills us with energy. Plus, we're able to see all of our past lives. We're able to master this life much better and actually manifest what we want because we can program them along with interacting with spirits. So whether it's nature spirits, elementals, and beings such as ETs, the angels, your past ancestors. So we open up to this whole new life that's multidimensional, and we realize we're just not this 3D body. We're much more than that. We're spirit, we're soul, which is God within us.
Amazing. So I'd love to hear a little bit about your journey, if you wouldn't mind sharing, as like, what did that look like for you? Is that something that happened, early on in this lifetime?
It did. I actually have a full memory of coming into this body and coming here for this soul purpose, for this soul mission of helping to enlighten humanity to the divine within them. And that's something very important for me. And it's my life path. So, I have memories that on Venus and Mars, living on Venus and Mars and other planets. And I was able to download a lot of that information into my current physical self, into my current consciousness, and then channel through those codes and that information to humanity. And also just, for myself, a lot of it was very important for myself in my journey. So when I came into the body, I knew my mission was to help out humanity, but just in you know not just in a very how do you in a very deep way. I was supposed to go in a very deep way and say, okay, this is how the aura is connected, the chakra system, the planets are ancient spirits. And, if we want love, we can connect to Venus, which will reflect that back love and also affect every heart chakra on the planet when we work with her because she's an ancient spirit. Saturn creates time and reality. So I also came with the knowledge of the spirits, the realms of the spirits, and how to reconnect to those realms. And that's so important for me because these spirits have ancient knowledge that will help us to light up the physical bodies when we join them to our spirit and then heal the planet and heal each other. And this is really important because we live in a time of chaos right now. We live in a time of turmoil, and we really need to channel in those higher energies to help calm the oceans, to help calm the energies on the planet, to help calm the energies of the masses, so that everyone can start healing and reconnecting to the divine within them.
Hmm. What are some ways that we can begin to pull more light into the physical body?
Ah, this is a good question. So there are various ways, and light cannot come into the body. The cosmic light, which the stars send us, the moon, the sun, nature sends us, cannot come in and charge us if we have blockages. Sometimes they're karmic blockages from our past lives. Sometimes they're karmic blockages from our ancestors. Sometimes they're blockages within the bodies we incarnated, of all the trauma, the wars, and all that have imprinted themselves upon us. So we have to go in and delete all of these things. Sometimes they can't come through because of toxins or false light belief systems. So we have to go through the different layers. And once we clear all those layers, then the cosmic light can charge our cells, because our cells are solar panels. And this is why the ancient Egyptians were sun worshippers. They would gather the light, it would go in and charge the cell, and it would pass through the cell, and it would charge our aura, and it would charge our chakra system, and it would light up our Merkaba, our DNA. A lot of people are depleted because they haven't, they have these blockages and they haven't brought the cosmic light in. So it's important to really go within and clear our cells, because we have things like heavy metals. The heavy metals get into the cell and reflect the light out like a mirror, so that the light cannot go in through the cell, which is the solar panel, and charge the aura and the chakra system. This is one of the main causes of why people are so depleted in energy. And somebody depleted in energy, they're going to be depressed. Their life's going to be chaos. They're going to have a lot of negative thoughts. They're going to be stuck in life. They're going to be sick, and many other things. So when all that's cleared out and the energy flows through us, we become as like happy, giddy children that just create, because God is a creator, and that God source energy flowing through us, we create, and we have everything we need, and we feel happy and blissful and connected. And this is the ultimate path for humanity, is to return to that light within. So yes, talking to the spirits, I talk to Venus. I say, I need more love within my heart, and she channels that to me. Or I say to Saturn, you create time and reality, help me manifest better timelines in my life, a better reality, and it does so. So us reconnecting to the spirits and channeling those energies into us is the way to bring more energies, and just to speak to them like I'm speaking to you, like you would speak to a friend, to create that connection, because they're spirits. And beyond this physical body, us being a spirit, we have the ability to speak to the spirits, so we can do this. So in let's say, to put this short, I would say detoxing your body is one of the first steps, because you need to clear those cells out and cleanse those cells out, so that they can actually hold the energy. Once they can hold the energy, then you're going to be higher frequencies, and that's going to charge your aura and your chakra system. So that's probably the level one of starting this journey, is just to start clearing out the body and the cells, so that they can be solar panels to charge and hold that energy.
Yeah, I'd love to go into the detoxification process a little bit deeper, because I know that you've done a lot of work around it in videos and put out a lot of great information. And one of the things that I find really interesting is I heard you talking about the reptilian part of our brain.
Yes.
And that's such a fascinating connection. Would you mind sharing a little bit about that?
Yes. So I did a lot of research on this, and also a lot of downloads, also what I was getting from the councils. And it's really important right now, because a lot of people are living in the reptilian part of the brain, which is actually connected to lower consciousness. It puts us in a state of fight or flight, and we should not be living in that every day. That part of the brain was created so if you're lost in a forest and you have to survive, that turns on so you can survive. The problem is we're not supposed to always stay in that part of the brain. We need to actually go into the other parts of our brain, and I do this by literally channeling light to my entire brain, so it lights up. And that's when it lights up, I can see other realms and stuff. So I did so much research on this, and one day I was told that, and this goes back to symbolism, to codes, to ancient prophecies. I was told that in the book of Revelations, they talk about the mark of the beast, and the mark of the beast is the reptilian part of the brain. It says it's in the center of their forehead, and I realized that everyone on this planet, well, major part of people are coming from the reptilian part of their brain. So they're drug addicts, they're addicted to food, they're addicted to TV. There's many addictions out there, but it's the same thing. It's the reptilian part of the brain. And if you do your research in science, it's been shown that the reptilian part of the brain is connected to people who are addicts. People who are addicts are in the reptilian part of the brain. So it was shown that it was the mark of the beast in the Bible, the beast, the reptile. So then I kind of did some further research, and I realized that when the body's toxic and it's stressed out, when there's chaos in our lives, we go into the reptilian brain. So by really going into a state of peace, detoxing our bodies, putting in healthy foods, that gets us out of the reptilian part of the brain. Drugs light up the reptilian part of the brain. Cigarettes, alcohol, things like that, they light up the reptilian part of the brain. And fast foods, there's actually a study to prove this. So any food that stresses your body, by the way, lights up the reptilian part of the brain. So I was told by the ETs, they were like, okay, so did the prophecy about in the Bible about the mark of the beast and how everybody is worshiping the beast doesn't mean they're praying or bowing to it. To worship something, you're in its frequency. So
Yes.
they're all connected. They're all in the reptilian part of the brain, and they're all in the frequency of lower consciousness. And the reptilian part of the brain, when somebody's living from it, there's no empathy, no compassion, no love, no kindness. They're self-centered, they're egotistical. A lot of people who are murderers, a lot of people who are abusers, they're in the reptilian part of the brain. So it's a lack of empathy. It's a lack of also higher emotions such as bliss and happiness. And it's very self-serving. It's service to self, basically. So the ETs were telling me a lot of people are in the reptilian part of the brain because of the pollution on the planet, because of the drugs they're taking, the pharmaceuticals, the toxins they're putting in their body, their false light belief systems, the fact they haven't healed karmic trauma, ancestral trauma, ancestral karma. So this puts them in the reptilian part of the brain. And the whole thing going back to worship, they were all in that same, and it says in the Bible, the beast is big, it's large, it's huge, because they're all in that frequency. They're all in the frequency of the beast. And they don't realize that, being in that part of their brain, in that frequency, their energy is going to it. It's literally, that's where their energy is going. It's like a black hole. And I also was shown that the reptilian part of the brain connects to the lower dimensions. It also connects to negative thought forms and negative entities. And that's where people will have thoughts where they think they're their own, but they're coming from negative entities. And those negative entities are only drawn to them because of the uncleared karma, because of the toxins. Once you clear all that, negative entities just completely leave and you don't have to worry about them. So I had this whole epiphany about the reptilian part of the brain and how we are actually living in that right now. And the mark of the beast is actually playing out on this planet, and we're waiting for some microchip or some, I don't know, some maybe like stamp, like I've seen in religious movies, but we're already living in that. And we need to understand how our brain works, how our energy field works, and how we can actually switch out of certain parts of our brain into the higher consciousness, and how we can master our energy rather than being the co-pilot. We need to become the pilot of our energy fields in our lives and our thoughts and emotions.
Such a powerful way of really getting in touch with the energy fields and our thoughts. And I just really appreciate that explanation. So you know, in addition to detoxifying the body, what are some of the ways that we can really get in touch with those higher levels of consciousness?
So once you detox the body, then you can, I like to speak to each one of my organs. I speak to my liver. What I do is I go up. So I'm able to go up in frequencies. I can go down or up. And I've been able to teach myself this and teach a lot of people this. And so, a simple just a simple exercise you can do is to visualize a golden tunnel above you, visualize you're flying up that golden tunnel, tell you your body feels elated and your body feels like tingles all over it, because that means you're connected to God's source energy. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go clear your mind, and you're going to wait a couple of seconds. Then you're going to focus on your liver, and you don't need to know where it's at. Just focus on your liver and ask your liver, is there any emotions to be cleared? And then you just wait, clear your mind again. And the thought that comes in your mind is the answer from your liver. That's you talking to your higher self. You want to try it right now? You're more than welcome to try it.
Yeah, I did actually as you were going through.
Did you get an answer?
Yeah, I got the answer of anger actually.
So then you tell your system, you tell your liver, delete the anger out of my system. And then it'll delete it. And then what you do is you ask, what color, because each color is a frequency of the divine, what color do you need? Sometimes the liver being angry, it needs light blue because blue calms it. So then I go through each organ, through the cells, through the bones, and I create this connection with my body, and it responds to me and speaks to me. And it's incredible that how just our bodies, we're not connected to them. Just sitting there with a Reiki healer and having them channel energy is not going to heal you. Even just detoxing your body, you have to go throughout all the levels. And we have to really make the connection with our physical body because it's divided from our spirit. And once the two become one, because in the Bible it says that the two shall become one, it doesn't mean a woman and man, it means the body and the soul, which is God, to completely be embodied within each other. And this is where we become Christ, and we ascended to Christ consciousness, and we realize we're eternal and immortal. We've lived for hundreds and hundreds of lives, and we have put on this body like we do these clothes, and we're okay, and there's nothing to fear, and we're going to live thousands more lives. We've lived on many planets, and we've taken the incarnation of many different beings, and everything's okay in that.
Yes, I love that so much. Can you share a little bit more about how to like really protect our energy and cultivate that so that we're
That's a good question. Because just recently, like 2 days ago, right? I had this whole experience where there's a lot of awakened people, and then there's a lot of people who are connected to who aren't healed. So all of the unhealed stuff is connected to the underworld, to the lower realms, which is attracting a lot of negative entities to them. And so it's kind of very it's crazy and chaotic out there right now. So it's shown that we need to protect our energy fields. And what we can do is, I call in Anubis. Anubis is one of the ancient beings from Egypt, and he's a protector. So I ask him to clear my house. I ask him to clear my energy field if needed. And this really helps out right now. And he's more than willing to do that. Yes, I do work with other beings. I do 90% of my own work because I know I'm God and I'm Christ, my own Christ. So I do that. But I also, just like if we're having a hard day and we need the help of a friend, we can call them in. So he comes in and he put a golden pyramid over my house and stands above that golden pyramid to protect it. And I do suggest everyone start visualizing a golden pyramid over their house right now, so that those chaotic energies cannot come through their houses, because they're flowing everywhere. To block that out in the golden pyramid, you fill it with rainbow light, and this works efficiently. And then I request one of the angels or Anubis or one of the guardians to stand above that pyramid to help protect my house at night, which they do. So yes, to go back to that question, we can also visualize ourselves in a golden pyramid. We fill it with the rainbow colors. And then what we do is we ask Archangel Michael to keep anything negative out of our field. And it's really also important to be careful with the people who you're connected to. Don't connect to spiritual bypassers, people who know better and they still are being negative and they're still doing things that aren't the best, because they're going to have a lot of dense karma, and you're enabling them by continuously entertaining them in your presence, despite the fact that they know what they're doing is wrong and too. So that's a way to protect your energy. Sometimes you just have to say, until you truly heal, until you truly become spiritual, you are not allowed in my presence. And I will not entertain this, because we actually get the karma of people around us. Yes, we do. And so if we're enabling them, we're going to get their karma. And I myself, I don't know about you, but I prefer not, not to partake in that. I prefer to stay my high energies and happy and blissful. So, um, and so we can do that by being careful who we let in our circles, who we connect with. It's a different to connect to an unhealed person who just, they're lost and they're willing to heal and they're willing to come out of that darkness, of those dense energies. That's okay. We're not going to get their karma because they're trying to heal. They're trying to really become whole again. So there won't be any karma their exchange. But so it's important to be careful with friends and who we let around us, and of course do the golden pyramid, which will protect our energy field quite efficiently.
Yes, I love that practice. Sarah, one of the things that you alluded to was really about this time period and how there is a lot of chaotic energy. There's a lot of misinformation, or you said false light. What would you like to share about this time?
Oh, the craziness in politics. This morning I got up, I was quite busy, and because I have a schedule to adhere to throughout the day. And I got up, and when I get up though, I leave a certain amount of time of where I just do spiritual work. I speak to the ETs, I speak to the angels, I speak to the elementals, the different councils. It is a quite busy morning for me in the spiritual realm. So I get up, I do this, and then of course they tell me things, and I put them out there, sometimes I don't. Like, I'm gonna keep this to myself. And so I literally got up this morning, and the first thing they were like, tell everyone, stop focusing on politics. They're like, politics, politics are energy draining. They drain your energy. They're going to just, their high consciousness, their lower consciousness. We need to stop focusing on politics. We need to stop focusing on things that will drain our energy and are draining our energy. Start focusing on self growth, on helping ourselves out, on helping each other out, on just, and even me, I put out a lot of stuff, but that's my journey and it's my unique journey. And you need to go tap into God's source within you so you can find your unique path that's meant for you, because our journeys will never be the same. So just be very aware, of who you connect to. Make sure they're always coming from kindness, from goodness, from truthfulness, if you're following spiritual leaders. So don't follow politics. Don't follow spiritual leaders who are pushing politics. Don't follow anyone who is just pushing a lot of negativity, a lot of judgments of even celebrities. I know this sounds really crazy, but recently it was like, there's so much hatred coming from awakened people towards celebrities. You can't heal a person by sending them hatred. You can only shift a person by sending them love and unconditional love. This is the thing. So, everyone deserves to return to the light, and we shouldn't be sending all of these negative things towards celebrities. We shouldn't be making terrible memes about them, because I'm kind of tired of that in this field. And we should avoid politics. If you can get into the political arena and help make better laws, where handicapped people, they have access to food and clothing and homes and stuff like that, go do it. But otherwise, do not promote our political leaders right now, because they are not in the light. And the ETs have told me this and stuff. They said, a lot of them are going to lose their status because they are not coming from integrity, goodness, kindness, and compassion, and they are causing the suppression of billions of people around the world. So they're going to start, as we awaken more, they're going to lose their status. So focus on yourself and focus on building up the light within you, and stop losing the light to, just like politics and all of the online craziness and rumors and hating on celebrities. Just stop all of that. Go and really, really get involved in your community. Conserve, reserve, and build up your energy field, because frequency is what changes the world. Not sitting on the computer all day and sharing memes. Being the portal of light, being the light that the world needs. This is going to change the world. The most powerful thing is being that light, and that affects everyone around us, rather than us. Words are not as powerful as us being a higher frequency, because when we sleep, when we walk, when we're silent, that still comes through us and affects the entire world and everyone around us and shifts the planet. And it's better to build up our energy, spend that time building up our energy rather than going online and being angry and upset and focusing on politics or celebrities. It's better we go build up that light within us. And that is very important right now because the world, it needs more light. And there's been so many people that have been lost in dense energies for so long, for thousands of years on this planet, and they need our light. They need the light of us, of the divine, to channel through us so that they can also find the light within themselves. And that is for me, the truth above all truths is to be the light, embody it rather than just speaking about it.
Yes. Why do you think that conspiracy theorists have gained so much momentum during this time?
There's a lot of truth to conspiracies, but also conspiracies are kind of like a two-edged sword because people, okay, so people, they're definitely scary conspiracies. And what that does is when you get scared, just like when you're watching a horror movie, lights up the reptilian part of the brain. So they're addicted to the conspiracy. So it's important not to get addicted to conspiracies. I know a lot of things that happen out there. I don't put them, I just don't put it out there because I don't want to fuel on those people who are looking for their next high through the next conspiracy. And even though these conspiracies are through, I don't want to encourage them to be in that consciousness of fight or flight, which is the reptilian part of the brain. So I always try to steer people towards healing, towards detox, and towards spirituality, because I am going to be 36 years old in April. And I've been in this community since I was 25 years old. It's been a long time. And I started out because I was like, oh, I was having all these experiences. I was accessing ground bases. I have these different abilities. I can literally see through another person's eyes. I can all these different things. I was experiencing them. So I started just to put it out there. And I realized as I got older, I was like, this isn't helping anybody to spiritually awaken. They're just focusing on the conspiracies. They're not focusing on health and detox and being the light that's actually going to change the world and actually going to push out any negative beings and going to shift the planet. It's going to help us to keep the children on this planet safe, and it's going to help us help the suffering. I didn't see that happening. And I realized quickly I needed to shift this because with me having a voice in this community, I realized just how powerful my voice is. So I started to not put conspiracies out there. Yes, I'm picking up all the time that there's underground bases. I'm in Sedona, Arizona. I tapped into a base not far out from here recently, and it's not a good base. But I'm not putting all the information like that anymore out there because I don't think it's relevant to people's spiritual path. And I want them to focus on their spirituality and finding Christ within themselves rather than that, because it's really in the end, just my research of people who are deep into conspiracies too, it drains the life force from them. They're in the reptilian part of the brain. They're scared. They're scared of the government and stuff. I know what's going on. I'm not scared of the government. I'm not scared of anything because I'm in my Christ self. There's no fear there. And I'm aware that that energy is shifting the planet more than me putting out the conspiracies that are legit out there that I know about. And I'd rather encourage people to go into their soul and to become one with God within them rather than fall into every new conspiracy that's basically like their new high. They're looking for another high. And that's what conspiracy sadly has turned into. We need to stop focusing on the conspiracies and start focusing on the solutions. Okay, bad things are happening on the planet. Bad things are happening, to the masses. Bad things are happening to the children on this planet. But what are the solutions? What can we do to bring those solutions and to actually change this rather than falling into the fear and falling into the high and the addictive part of this? Let's go into the God space and bring those solutions and act out and live out those solutions, and that will shift the planet.
Yes, I think that's so, so powerful. What do you think is the number one block that holds people back from connecting with their Christ self?
Oh, that I've never thought about that one before. Hmm. For me right now, pollution. It's like I had this one woman, she was quite religious and she clearly didn't like me. And I said to her, God is a frequency. And she was like, okay. And I said, if you shift your diet just for a couple months, just shift your diet, go eat more vegetables, go juice, come back to me. She's like, okay, I'll do that. She was down for it. And she detoxed during those 3 months and juiced. And, you know, she comes back to me 3 months. She's no longer religious. She goes, it shifted my frequency. I feel like a new person. And I do believe that right now there's a war on consciousness, and that there are elite people who know that pollution blocks the cosmic energies from flowing through us. So they're purposely polluting our air, our oceans, our foods, our beauty products on every level. Even baby formula is polluted with toxins. Everything's polluted with toxins. So I feel like the number one thing that keeps people from accessing higher energies is the pollution in their body. And that's why I would start people out with detoxing. And once they start to detox, that alone shifts a lot for them. And they start to feel more empathy, more connection to nature, to others. So that for me is the number one cause right there, if I were to really put some thought into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about any of the density, like, attachment to like shame or fear or resentment? Like, how do you recommend shifting some of those lower?
And those are just like I just showed you, where you can go in and delete the system. Go into the system and delete like the anger out of your liver, or like the sadness. You can just ask your system, ask your body, what part of my body is there the shame? Where's the shame lodged into or anchored into? And then go in and delete it. So it's really quite easy. Once you connect to your body, you can just delete, just like you on a computer. This is divine ancient tech that we're in, that our souls are in. Just like a computer, you could delete, we can go in and delete. So this is, yeah. And this is important information for humanity, because they live in this and they don't know that they can go in and just clear these things. They think they're at the mercy of them. This is really important information for me, because to get out there, because of the fact that we're God. We have we can master these things. We don't need to be at the mercy of them. So yeah, just going through your cells and stuff and asking, you can ask your higher self, where's it at? It'll tell you, delete it, bring in the light, and you're good.
I love that. I love that. So you shared a little bit about sort of your morning routine. I was wondering if you could share a little bit more about your spiritual practices.
So I generally wake up, I get into meditation, and I calm my mind. I do clearing work. I speak to the councils, because I'm almost like an ambassador to Earth for these different ET councils. And once I was filming at Gaia, and they were coming through, the oracle from Mars came through, and the crystals in my hand shattered. I was holding crystals. That's how intense they got. The cameras were messing up. So I do that work. So then they tell me what needs to be worked on the planet, what's happening with humanity. They'll address political situations and what I should tell humanity. And then they guide me to who I need to. So they're guiding some of my ancient priests and priestesses that I worked with on other planets to me. I've just met a whole group of them, because they told me when I came to Sedona I would meet them. So they're guiding me on things like that too. And then of course after that, I might do another clearing. I like clearing throughout the day so that I stay high frequency. And I'm processing a lot for the planet right now. So when you go in God consciousness, you can't turn away from the dense energies and the sadness and all of the karma on the planet. So you start to help process that and cleanse it, clear it. So I'm doing that work right now. So I'll do some work usually on that, especially with the moon, this recent moon, I did work on that. So I just took kind of space from everything, did my work on that, and then came back and was like, okay, I'm here again, everyone. Which sometimes my friends are, they realize this, but then it's like 1,000 texts later and they're like, where have you went for the last 2 days or 5 days? Off to do this work. So I'll do that. And then I'll generally have like a smoothie with like kaleido gold, monatomic gold, all sorts of superfoods in it. fulvic humic minerals. So I make this huge smoothie, sometimes spirulina powder, depending on what I feel, and I'll drink that down. Then sometimes depending on it, I'll have some bulletproof coffee with collagen in it and gelatin in it. And then of course a nice big breakfast with loads of veggies and eggs from the farm here. So that's kind of my morning ritual. And of course my team is they're getting together my schedule for the day because I don't live in time. That's my morning ritual. Or I'll just some days too, I'll go to the river, I'll lay on the side of the river and meditate and clear energies and speak to the land. And then sometimes I just go around to the vortexes and do spiritual work on them. So it really depends on what I decide to choose that. But
Love
I
it.
love my mornings. Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds so complete and whole, like you really integrate in so much. Yeah.
And
Is it
some good organic skincare too, and a sauna session sometimes. Yes, perfect. And that finishes it off amazingly well.
That does sound amazing. Yeah. How important do you think it is to like really develop like all of these self-love, self-care practices?
Very important, because God cannot live in a body where when a person does not love itself. There'll be a piece of God energy, a certain amount of it, but not a lot of it. You know, just by working with your organs and stuff, that's self-love. You care about what they feel and you're connecting. That's love. Love. We talk about self-love, but we're not doing the actions to our body. We're not going through our organs and talking to ourselves. That's true self-love right there. And we're connecting on such a deep level. And we're saying, we love this body that we're in. We love this incarnation. I love you. And because of that, because that love, that draws more God energy into us. Just like if we're in negative, that draws more negative entities to us. If we're in the negative, when we're in that state of connecting and having that love flow through us, that draws more God's cosmic energy into us. So self-love is very important.
Yes. Yeah. And right now for you, I'm just curious, like what are the, missions that you feel most passionate about?
Oh my, there's there's so much that needs to be done on the planet. It's like we've ripped it apart with pollution. We've ripped it apart energetically by not processing the trauma, the wars that have happened. So we have a lot of work to do, those of us who are awakened. So I think number one right now would be the ocean. She appears to me in the form of a woman, and she collects cosmic energies and she channels them into the center of the earth to charge the earth to keep it in higher frequencies. She's not being able to charge the earth because she's polluted. So she can't channel that be a channel for those energies into the center of the earth to keep it in higher frequencies. So the ETs have requested of me recently to tell people to focus on just like you delete something out of your body, you can tell the ocean to delete the poisonous energies. You can visualize them. You'll see them kind of black and icky and like kind of gooey, blacky ick, and you can transmute them into gold light, then recharge her with that. So she was asking for me to tell people, and so are the ETs, to say, sense the energies, feel the energies of the ocean where you feel there's the blockages, the dense energies, channel gold light there, or collect all those energies into a sphere, all the dense energies, and then visualize them turning into gold light and then recharge her. We need to clear the ocean right now. That is very important. The ETs this is probably like the 20th time they've told me within the last couple of months that this is very vital to our planet right now. And we need to start like connecting not only more to each other, to our bodies. We need to start connecting to the planet and to the oceans, to the mountains. They're ancient spirits and they're hurt and they're suffering and they're crying and they're asking for help. And just like we send Reiki to each other, energy to each other to help out each other when we feel down, when the other person feels down, we need to understand they react the same way. When we send them golden light, rainbow light, they start to heal. They start to be able to go back up in frequency. They don't like being in the frequencies of pollution which is traumatic for them because they're ancient spirits of their God. and they don't like those energies. They want to be released from them. So that's right now, that's probably number one on my list, is the ocean, because she really needs our help.
Hmm. Yes. You shared a little bit before about Saturn and the different spirits, Venus and Mars. I was wondering if you could share a little bit more.
Do you want to go deep here? That's the question.
Yes, I would love to.
I like going deep. I don't, I don't really care. I just go.
Go.
So, we have this whole thing with satanic rituals being done on this planet, and everybody knows that these things are happening. They don't know what they mean. So they don't know what they are manifesting either. So when they do a satanic ritual, they're sending energy to the planet Saturn. Satan and Saturn are one. They're the same. They're sending the energy to Saturn, which is like a mirror, and projects it back, reflects it back 1,000 times to create the reality that they want. So the elite know that Saturn creates time and reality. So they're doing rituals to send energy there that's reflected back, which creates the realities they want, which keeps them elite, wealthy, and having status. So basically, we can also do the same. In ancient times, we'd gathered circles and we would speak to each ancient spirit, such as Venus, like I said, Saturn. And so what we could do is we can send energy. So we sit in a circle, we visualize these beautiful timelines, we send that energy to Saturn, and it'll reflect it back and create the time in reality. So we can shift the planet timeline in timelines into positive timelines this way. And so this is ancient knowledge. Knowledge is ancient magic, by the way, that's hidden away. So they want to scare you away from Saturn. So they put this whole thing that Satan is bad and whatever. Saturn's a neutral planet. It's just being used to create the realities they want. They actually have a hostage creating the realities they want. Just like the ocean needs to be cleansed and cleared, we need to cleanse and clear Saturn of the dense energies that they have been sending there to project the realities of suppression on this planet. And then we need to send Saturn, these we can create in our mind, in our imagination. We can create beautiful timelines of healing and a happy earth and happy people and healthy people. We send that to Saturn, it'll reflect back 1,000 times to us and create those timelines. So we can create time and reality on this planet. And that's one of the major, um, it's going to help with a major shift on this planet once we realize these things. Once we realize that we're not victims. We have all this power and all these powers, and it's God within us is waiting for us to tap into God. And God, of course, is eternal and immortal, and God has power over the elements. So do we. So God speaks to the spirits, and spirits respond to God happily and willingly because they feel that unconditional love from God. So we can speak to the planets, and they'll reflect back and create the realities and timelines that are positive for us if we only request and if we only connect to them.
Mm. Love that. I love that. There's so much that we have the capacity to do and change in our world. And so it's such a beautiful and powerful message that you're sharing. And I'm so, so grateful for your time today, Sarah. Thank you so much for being here. I know your website is sararadams.com. Is there any other place that people can go to connect with you and learn more about your work?
So I do have, you can Google me and you'll find my Instagram accounts, my social media accounts on Facebook. Um, and yeah, my website is www.sararadams.com. And I teach people how to speak to ETs, angels, and how to really ascend into their Christ selves. And as insane as this sounds, to have superpowers, because God has powers and we're God, so we have powers. And my ultimate work is to get people to reascend into their multidimensionality and to understand they're not alone. And yeah, I'm working on that right now. And of course, you can see me on the latest episodes of Ancient Civilizations on Gaia TV, because we just filmed that recently, and that's come out.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Any last words of wisdom that you'd like to leave us with today?
We have, for so long on this planet, We are the ones who turned away from God. God's never turned away from us. God's been waiting all along with unconditional patience and love for us to return to God and for us to open that door, because God knocks every day. God knocks through various ways. And we don't open that door, or we keep slamming it in God's face, and it's time to open the door to God. Once you do, there's a whole nother world waiting for you out there, one that will restore you into wholeness, one that will fulfill you, one that will lift you into bliss and goodness, one that's infinite and eternal.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me on. I enjoyed this.